the little thingy. I have no idea what I'm doing. I know I sound like an idiot, you don't have to tell me. It worked! It worked! Welcome back to another episode on the Skyline Lexi YouTube channel. On this episode of I have no idea what I'm doing, today we are going to be half installing my Innovate LC2 wideband or air-field ratio. I'm a little stressed out about this only because wiring and all that kind of stuff really stresses me out. I don't quite understand some of the diagrams. It's just not straightforward to me, so we will try our best and see how far we get. I just don't feel confident cutting and splicing stuff where, I don't know. I'm very stressed out about the wiring part, so I'm going to do my best to follow this diagram that Josh made for me, and hopefully we get through it. I'm also a little hungover, so. First I want to find the accessory power so I can at least fire the LC2 up, because it does need to calibrate in free air before you attach the actual O2 sensor and everything, so let's get started. If you're not subscribed already, make sure you hit that subscribe button and be sure to follow me on Instagram as well at Skyline Lexi. So looking at this diagram, this is the LC2, which I am trying to get power for, and he has made a note down here to find accessory 12 volt with fuse. And then he made a note to find a power line that is 0 volt when car's off, excuse me, 12 volt when key is turned on, so possible to steal red wire, oh my god, possible to steal red power wire from deck. I look here on my deck, there is a red wire, oh my gosh, this one here that already has a Moret splice onto one there, so that would be a really easy spot to put another wire on, so I'm going to test that with the multimeter right now. I think I found the 12 volt wire. The car is off, and if I poke this into this hole in my chassis here, beeping, and I'm getting 0. So I'll try that with the car switched on. And I'm getting 12 volts. I found it! So since I'll be connecting a wire to this guy from my deck, I want to make sure all the wires are tucked in. So I'm actually going to take my center console off and run the wires properly. So now that we can see a little bit better in here, I'm going to run the red wire from my LC2 through the back here and into that red wire here. Totally forgot I was putting in a relay, so I didn't want to record all that because it'd be quite boring to sit there and watch me attach all these wires. But what I did is I put a wire from the 12 volt ignition from the back of my deck into the relay. Also coming off the relay is a ground wire, and that ground wire is going to this bolt here, as well as another ground wire coming from the actual LC2. And what else do I have here? Another red wire from the LC2 going to the relay, and lastly all I need is 12 volt constant power, so I'm going to try and find a long enough wire to wire that from here to my battery. So I have now wired this mini 5 amp fuse to the relay, and then I have run it. Then I have spliced it to this brown wire and ran this brown wire to my engine bay, which I will show you. So this is that brown wire, goes all the way through the wheel well there into the car. And so I'm going to attach an eyelet onto the wire and attach it to the positive battery post. The relay and everything hooked up, I'm going to turn the car on and calibrate the sensor before I actually move the sensor down to my exhaust. I don't know that we'll get finished to hooking up the actual display gauge today because I'm getting freezing cold out here. So this will be a 2-day event and I will finish it the next day. So let's get the sensor calibrated. Like a wheeler, but it goes so fast, all tied up like a captive. So I'm not going to calibrate the sensor until I have everything actually hooked up, just because if you calibrate it and then turn it back on and blah blah blah, it gets uncalibrated. So I'm actually just going to turn the car on and just see if it's actually working. We'll know by the little light on the LC2, and then we'll finish setting the rest of it up another day. I did it! So the light is red and blinking, which means that nothing's connected obviously, so that's a really good sign. So we'll leave it at that today and I'll see you on day 2. Hey guys, so we're back to try and finish the rest of this wideband install. I had my braces adjusted today, so yes, the lisp is really bad today. I'm trying to just ignore it and do my best.
Today, Junior?
So what I'm hoping to get done is wire the actual gauge into everything and then try and feed the rest of the R32 sensor down to my exhaust, and then take the part of the exhaust off that I need to weld the bung onto, and then another day will be learning how to weld for the first time and putting everything together at the end. So earlier today I tried to pull one of these off so that the sensor wouldn't turn on when I wanted to drive the car to work today, and the wires actually popped out of these shitty little connectors. So I'm going to pull all the connectors off and replace them with better ones so I don't actually have to tape them as well. So I'm going to get started with that. What the Oh, I'm literally gonna freak out. This crimper blows. There, it looks way better. Ground. Don't ask me why I taped it. Okay, so relay is set back up. We are going to move on to these wires here off the LC2 that connect to the gauge. So if you kind of see my interior here, I have 3 gauges that sit here. I have oil pressure, water temperature, and oil temperature here. And then on top of my steering column here, I have my boost gauge. So in terms of adding another gauge in, I'm not really sure where I want to permanently put it. So for now, I'm going to try and kind of mount it here where my vent is. My air conditioning and heat don't work, so I don't use those right now. So it'll have to stay there for now. And then if I want to move it around later, we can do that. So my handy dandy instructions from Innovate say to connect the gauge's white wire to the LC2's yellow wire. This is my LC2 yellow wire, and this is the gauge white wire. So I'm going to connect these 2 babies with a little connector if I can find one. It says that the yellow wire from the gauge connects to a headlight power wire to enable dimming for nighttime viewing. However, my headlights aren't even wired up properly, so I'm just going to tape this one up and leave it. Okay, I reorganized a little bit just to make sure that everything's gonna fit back into this little space here when I put the cover back on. So next, red wire, 12-volt switch from the gauge. I'm going to put this tube together, which is the 12-volt switch from my deck, and we're going to put it into a clip for the relay. I'm going to do the same thing with the ground into this ground for the relay from the gauge. Unfortunately, I have to redo the clip on this one. Josh just got mad at me for wasting them. I kind of want to turn the car on to see if the gauge actually lights up. If anything blows up, it was nice knowing you all. Oh! Nice. Okay, sweet. So now that we know that the gauge and everything is hooked up properly, I'm going to find the hole that is apparently in the floor of the car somewhere behind the driver's seat that I can route all the wires to the exhaust.
Dripping lights paint the skies, all because of you. Dripping lights.
Wait, on this side?
What do you mean? Don't f with me.
Why are you taking this side out?
You said driver's
I
side.
said passenger side. Did you see the hole?
No? What hole? You told me driver's side.
Your exhaust is on the other side. Why wouldn't you find the hole first?
How
Why
the
would
f
you?
am I supposed to see a hole under the f***ing rug?
No, you see from under your car.
Oh my god.
Babe.
Okay, so I'm a total idiot and should have used my brain there, but I actually have to go under the passenger seat, not the driver's seat. So I reversed everything I just did and we're gonna do the passenger side now. Okay, sorry, my card was full, so I had to empty it, but in the meantime, I took off the ledging from here and pulled back some of the carpet, and there is a hole under here, which you probably can't see that well, which leads to that little grommet. There is where I will thread the sensor through. You can see that bung already welded there. We're going to weld it next to it in between the 9 o'clock and 3 o'clock position on the test pipe. So I'm going to get under there and mark that spot and then take the test pipe out.
The next morning.
Good Good morning, we are back. I think this is the third day I'm installing the wideband. I do have a regular person day job, so it's really hard for me to get out here, especially since we've had weather. So it is the morning time and we actually get some sun in our driveway in the morning. So today I'm going to get that test pipe off. You saw from the last clip, I am not strong enough to break it just with a regular ratchet, so I've got the impact gun today. So we're gonna get the test pipe off. Let's go. It's heavy! Oh my god! Ah, my shoulders! Mother of sweet pearl.
What are you doing?
Yeah!
Are you hitting up the...
Oh, that one was really easy. Wait, is it in reverse? Yeah, okay. Okay. Oh wait, was I doing it? What was I doing here? I'm doing the wrong one! I think, I don't know, I can't tell. My neck! This thing is so wet. Yeah! Oh my god.
Perfect even mean? Is there even such a thing? Ooh, can we switch up all the...
Whoa! Knew that was gonna happen. Good morning, we are here today in the garage to finish welding, or start welding, the bung onto my test pipe for the O2 sensor. I am going to drill a hole into the test pipe and then we're heading up to a friend's place to weld it on. I have never welded anything, so I may attempt to try and learn today. Otherwise, we have Josh here to supervise and or do it properly.
And whoa, whoa.
Later.
Alrighty, so change of plans. Our drill bits are not strong enough to get through the stainless steel of the test pipe, so we've decided to cut off the bung that is already welded to my test pipe and then use that hole to weld the new bung to. We're going to zip disc that bung off and then hopefully get the other one welded on today. We will see. Alrighty, so we have ground this down and I have brake cleaned it to make sure that it is free of oil. So next step is to get that bung welded on. Josh is going to tack it first to show me and maybe do one side and then I'm going to attempt.
Yeah.
That was better. First weld, not too bad for my first time. I'm just going to pull the grommet out that is in the floor of my car so I can put a new one in there for the O2 sensor. I might have to drill the hole out a little bit, but we will see when I finally get under there.
My darling dear, you're never here when I'm in pain. You like shadows in the atmosphere, charting the stratosphere.
So we're going to calibrate the O2 sensor now, which is exciting, which means we're almost done. It says apply power to the LC2 without the sensor connected, which I've already done and I showed you guys before. So it is flashing a 2 blink sequence, which indicates an error 2 condition. So now I have the oxygen sensor attached to the LC2, and then we're going to make sure that the sensor is in free air and not the exhaust. And it says that the light will light up green for 2 seconds while the system initializes. Then the status light will start flashing green twice. And then after 30 to 60 seconds, the status light will flash green for a series of very quick flashes, indicating the sensor calibration being performed. Lastly, it will light up a solid green.
Bro, what are you talking about, man?
So I will try and film the light while I power the car up. So here the sensor is in free air. I'm nervous. Green is good. Calibrating. Oh, nice. Beautiful. Okay. Okay, so O2 sensor connected to bung through the grommet right there. Connected everything up. I am just going to reattach all the carpet, put the seat back. I won't record that just to make sure this video isn't a million years long. Unfortunately, this kind of just has to hang out right there since I don't have a pod for it. We are going to test it out, see what the readings are. The light isn't green. Did I just wreck it? I might have wrecked it. Why isn't the light green? Okay, so I'm a fudging idiot and I didn't just turn the car to accessory to check to see if the LC2 had the green power light before I turned the car on, and the LC2 wasn't powered, and I turned the car over and ran the O2 sensor with the exhaust with no power. So I know that can damage it. I am hoping that it didn't run long enough for me to damage it, but when I looked back in here, pulled the dash off again, this ground had come off because the wire is too short. So I just made the wire longer, I reattached it. I'm going to do this again and check for power before I start the car over and praying that the O2 sensor isn't wrecked. Okay, so I think everything's good. I know 14.7 is a good reading, so I think that my angels were looking out for me and I didn't wreck it. So finally, the Innovate wideband is installed. This took a little bit of time. I am so happy it's finally in. I will keep you guys updated on my air-fuel ratio reading because when I had the car running for a bit longer, it was jumping around a little bit. So I will update you guys in the next video about that. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and we'll see you in the next one. Oh, my knee! Ow! Ow, 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 ow.
Leading the charge, I'm coming on Friday. Swear I'm